Getting the most out of Bespoke is a journey. So today, we'll discover that journey with one client and their tailor.
I think initially it started with me want to customize my clothing. As much as like ready to wear, it's easily accessible. I want something that's unique.
It's lovely to kind of give people ideas and steer them through their style journey, really. Because when people first come to us, sometimes they're just beginning on their style journey. What we'd like them to kind of know and feel initially is just that they can trust us. And we aim to just build that level of trust, basically, so they get what they want.
Linus.
Hello.
Thanks for being on the channel. And Sian, thank you for being with us.
Hi.
So Linus, you've been a customer here at Whitcomb Shaftesbury for roughly how long?
I believe it's perhaps 7 years or something?
7 years.
I would say so, yeah.
Excellent. And Sian, how long have you been with Whitcomb Shaftesbury?
A similar amount of time, actually.
Excellent.
7 years, yeah. We started our journey together.
I was going to say, so yeah, it sounds like you've both sort of enjoyed each other's journey at the same sort of time.
Yeah, definitely.
Wonderful. So Linus, what is it that got you into Bespoke?
That's a very good question, Jack. I think initially it started with me want to customize my clothing. As much as like ready to wear, it's easily accessible. I want something that's unique, and that's often in the times of the cloth choice. So that's how I started. But obviously, having a relationship with a tailor, you can have a long-lasting relationship, and therefore you can come back and discover new ideas on what to make and have the journey together.
Interesting. I can imagine that's quite a rewarding part of being a tailor.
Yeah, absolutely. It's lovely to kind of give people ideas and steer them through their style journey, really. Because when people first come to us, sometimes they're just beginning on their style journey, and it's interesting to see them develop and to help them and find new fabrics and styles throughout.
So what would you recommend someone starts their Bespoke journey with in terms of a garment or perhaps a suit or something like that?
It depends how you'll wear your tailoring, obviously. I would suggest something that you're going to wear a lot, because it's a big investment. So you want to get the most for your investment. You want to feel like it's worthwhile. So I'd probably steer them towards maybe a separate pair of trousers, like a classic flannel pair of trousers, and maybe a blazer, which you can wear both as an outfit or independently, separately.
I see. So where did you start with your Bespoke journey?
In here, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I started initially with the pair of trousers right there. So it's a pair of Cavalry Twill. It sits somewhere in terms of the formality scale. So something you can wear with casual knitwear, as well as you can wear it with perhaps with like blazers, like in more formal wintry cloth as well. So it's a good balance. So I think as a first Bespoke commission, you want something that, as Sian said, you get a lot of wear out of. So this, to me, it's for my style back then, it's something I would wear a lot. So really enjoy it.
Interesting. What drove your decisions around the details?
So the details, I wanted to be just as it's interesting, because when you first do Bespoke, you want like a little bit of detail to show that it's like Bespoke, but you also want it so that it's like subtle. So I would say the details would be the pleats, the double pleat in here, and then the pocket flaps in here. It's subtle enough that the layman's eye, a layman's person wouldn't pick it up, but it's like Bespoke, and it's subtle enough to sit well with pretty much everything, let's say.
Indeed. Sian, did you work with Linus on these ones?
I did, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was a fun first piece to work on. They were, I think, some of the heaviest weight and cream trousers that I'd ever made.
Because these are heavy, right? How heavy would you say this cloth is?
It's 16, 17 ounces. So it feels a bit heavier than it is in reality. It looks heavier to me, say 20 ounces. But
Interesting.
I personally really like to go for heavier cloth for trousers just because it has that drape and it's just like more long-lasting, more durable as well, especially in the case for cream trousers. So, it's easier to maintain as well, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely helps. Being a little bit more robust.
Do you find them challenging to take care of because they're a light colour?
See, initially when I first started Bespoke, I put a lot of attention to kind of make sure it's clean all the time. But as you evolve, you just like, you accept them as they are. That's just the character you build on them. So, yeah.
Understood. Okay.
You learn to relax a little bit about the colour.
There you go.
Very nice, very nice. So trousers were your first starting off point with Whitcomb and Shaftesbury. This is where your Bespoke journey began. What sort of pieces came next?
So there is a green suit that came in between before what I'm going to tell you next. So that was a green wool silk mohair suit. It's a safari suit as well. So it's quite bold with all the tailoring stylistic choices. So safari jacket style and then Gurkha. So the idea for that is something I can wear the jacket and the trousers separately as well. And obviously back then my style is a lot more slimmer than right now. So it's quite a bold piece.
I noticed that the opening of the trousers is a little slimmer than I know that you like to wear nowadays.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But still happy to wear them?
Of course.
Yeah, awesome. So after the green?
After the green came the Polo Coat, which is quite an exceptional piece, to put it simply.
So you really like light colours?
I do really like light colors, and I like to stain my clothes, I guess. So, obviously, a polo coat is always a must-have for everyone, I think, just because, after your navy double-breasted coat, what's next? What are you gonna get for other occasions? You can wear it with what I am wearing today, like quite formal tailoring, but also perhaps something with like a brown jumper turtleneck in the winter, like a chunky one. So what would be like a good versatile piece? So this is kind of something I have in mind and I wanted to design as well. So you see in here, the collar is detachable. You can see, actually, this is not something we added initially. I came back maybe 1 or 2 years afterwards saying, oh, the attached collar is flapping a little bit. Can we do something about it? So we actually sewed the, I think, lining to it.
Yeah, so initially I think we just had some straps across there, but the end of the fur would lift off the collar. So we just encased it in a bit of lining so it would just sit really nicely over the collar.
I see.
It worked really well.
And then obviously the camel hair is just like a much better choice in my opinion.
Camel?
It is camel.
It's very soft.
Very fine.
It's very fine, but I think it's definitely more durable than some other alternatives. It's great. It's been wearing well. It's one of my most worn winter pieces as well. And the details are quite subtle as well if you look at the back as well. Sean, if you want to.
Yeah, of course. So this is our a bit of a signature of ours, style of ours, with overcoats. So we do a martingale back, which is this double box pleat with the sprat's head detail embroidery, and then the buttons through the vent.
Oh wow, that's lovely.
Yeah.
So it gives a really neat appearance, but also a range of movement within the box pleat, and same here.
And just a point of interest as well, and that obviously the beautiful kind of hand embroidery detail as well.
It goes back to what I'm saying earlier as well, like having that flexibility allows me to sometimes just wear a plain chunky knitwear underneath versus like a three-piece suit like what I'm doing today, depending on the weather. So yeah, it's a really lovely piece that evolved over the years.
Does it have any other features that you asked for within
Absolutely. So at first I wanted the collar to be detachable. So if you look closely in here, there's like some buttons along the collar so that you can detach it. But when you put it on without the collar, you wouldn't see any of the buttons at all. So it's quite like a versatile piece depending on the stylistic choice. Like, do I want just like a plain polo coat, or do I want like the collar to contrast? And for warmth, especially, I can flip it up in winter on very cold days. So
and it really elevates the look as well, doesn't it? To have that
so.
fur collar as well.
I think
It just
so, I think so.
really gives it that kind of elegant pop.
It certainly does. I noticed inside as well, you've got quite a deep, this is like a poacher's pocket.
yes.
Yeah, that's our traditional, our glove pocket. We do that in all of our overcoats.
Very nice.
I see Linus is actually wearing his gloves in the glove pocket, which is very good, Linus. But yeah, so we make that nice bellows so it doesn't spoil the line of the coat on the inside.
Very cool. Was it challenging to make a coat with all of these features and details?
It's always a slightly nerve-wracking with such a pale colour again. But the camel hair was lovely to work with. So yeah, no, not too bad.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Very nice.
a lovely challenge.
So, do you own many overcoats?
Not at the moment. I focus a lot more on actual tailoring and odd trousers afterwards, which we're going to show you in a second.
Excellent. Let's move on.
All right. So after that piece, I actually commissioned 2 pieces of worsted flannel at the same time, this being one of them. The reason why I'm showing this one is because this one, again, has what I said, like a lot more tailoring details that I just want to, back then myself, it's like I want to throw in a lot of different things. So this is one of them. So you see here, there's the ticket pocket.
Yeah.
And then you have the gauntlet, which I think is kind of Bob's signature style as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's.
And
I don't know.
this is a really interesting gauntlet cuff because usually you've seen them rounded.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the standard turn back cuff, but this is the gauntlet cuff with the pointed finish there, and it's just it's very stylish actually, just a little stylish addition.
I think it's good because you have like the peak lapel and then the pocket flaps. They're all quite angular rather than rounded. So having the gauntlet, having that sharpness to it kind of just speaks to each other a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, if that ain't all the details yet, I think me being very eccentric during the time, I actually have these lining made. It's a School of Athens print by, I think, Rampley.
Yes, I think so.
And then obviously, so that to the outside world, it may just be a peak lapel jacket that has a lot of details, but to me, this is something for myself. Something that's like a tailoring marvel in a way. You wanted to have a lot of things for yourself.
For yourself.
Yeah.
Shall I show the full lining?
Please.
Because it is quite something to behold. If you would like to check that, Jack. So
Wow.
then you can see.
And I think the key detail is usually for lining, you would cut it in the middle. You have like 2 lining fold on top of each other.
See that bit?
But you don't want to interrupt obviously
The image there.
The image there. So this one, the lining is actually just folded on top of the jacket. And we actually, for the excess cloth, we actually made pocket square out of that too. Yeah. So yeah.
Really getting your money's worth.
Exactly. So yeah, it's quite a fun piece for me at least, to design. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was it's a good. It's an illustration of what you can design for your bespoke wear, isn't it? You know, how
literally an
involved you can
illustration.
get in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Does that happen often? Do clients come with their own linings or fabrics that they want included?
Sometimes, yeah. Not too often, but we definitely have had clients who bring us. There was a client who wanted to bring us football shirts the other day to maybe line his jacket with. He decided against it, but for his next commission, he said.
Interesting. Would you do that?
I'm not a football fan, but maybe cycling related stuff.
Put some Rafa in there.
There you
And
go.
Yeah, some kind of yellow jersey.
Perhaps some high-vis lining or piping or something like
There you
that.
go. Just flip it over, and then you
There
can
you go.
wear it to cycle.
Multifunctional. I like it. It's a good idea. Awesome. So I'm kind of seeing a theme so far. You like a bold style, but rooted within the classic menswear sort of aesthetic.
Absolutely, absolutely. The next piece I'm actually going to show you, it's, I would say, actually one of my most important pieces. And it's actually...
In your whole wardrobe?
I would say so, even. And it really just takes inspiration of tailoring tradition, what people wear, and then what you can break as well. It's like, at that point, I really kind of start to understand what you can follow, what you can break, and what's sensible. So rather than just like a tailoring Marvel kind of piece, I want a piece that's like just right in all these menswear norms and logic.
So something very unusual.
Yes, but sensible.
But sensible. That sounds like it was quite a tough challenge.
I think that's kind of how it ended up, but not how it kind of felt at the time.
Yeah,
I think.
I guess so. Yeah.
I think you were designing a summer jacket, something that was a departure from what you already had in your wardrobe, something just a bit of a showpiece, really. And I think you'd found maybe your feet were feeling very comfortable with tailoring, and as you say, you're ready now to kind of push the boundaries a little bit in a well-educated kind of way, So we designed and made this double-breasted wool silk linen jacket for Linus.
So this is full of colour and texture. It's quite marvellous. And perhaps a bit unusual, but it's a double-breasted, but with a 4-on-1 closure.
Correct.
What was the inspiration behind that?
So, when people associate double-breasted coat, they always think about their 6'2", or maybe sometime 4'2" as well. But, when you look at other older images, like say with the Duke of Windsor and that kind, and his friends, you see a lot more 4x1s as well. It's quite a unique style in terms of, yes, it's formal because it's like double-breasted, but at the same time, it can be, depending how you cut it, the silhouette, it could be very relaxed as well and pair very nicely with a more, I guess, eccentric and unique cloth as well. And this actually, it's one of them as well. So this is actually an interesting piece that over time, rather than just wearing it as like a summer jacket, I actually enjoy a lot as a black tie piece as well. If you look at old images of illustrations, you see people wearing like brown or perma pink dupion, or that sort of cloth is like a jacket cloth for black tie or for warmer months. So this just takes the tradition a bit further. That like obviously the peak lapel helps as well to make it like a dinner jacket as well. And it's something I've just come back to and pair it with so many things.
Interesting. So essentially it sounds like if you were traveling and you knew that you were going to have a black tie event, but you also wanted to dress more casually as well, would this be the sort of thing that you'd pack knowing that you're kind of covered for a lot of occasions?
Absolutely. So in occasions like this, maybe like a 1 or 2 day trip, I'll actually take this jacket, the black Barrafea trousers, and then maybe something like a cream high twist trousers. And then I sometimes even wear it with like white jeans as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I can
so-
see that too.
So
Definitely.
it really depends what you wear inside. I actually wore the white jeans with like a beige or taupe color seersucker shirt with open collar. and it actually works quite well.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, I can see that working. A little bit of kind of Riviera kind of style.
Absolutely.
It sounds like it's been a really versatile piece for you.
I think reflecting upon it, I think one of the key elements is because it's not like a block color. It has so many colors, so it makes it unique and has depth, and therefore you can justify it as like a statement piece for all these occasions.
Because there's tones of what, like heather and pink, blue, and even some natural tones in there. Like I'm getting like an oatmeal-y kind of tone coming through.
Absolutely.
So, like you say, all of the colours and all of the styles that you're talking about wearing this piece with, I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. Something else that I notice, you've got a 2-button cuff.
Yes.
Now, I'll be honest, this is kind of something that I really like as well, is a 2-button cuff. I like the unusual nature of it, but I'm interested to hear more about your inspiration behind the 2-button cuff.
I think if you look at, I think that's something you can break as well. Obviously, like 4 buttons is your conventional suiting jacket kind of button configuration. 3 button kind of like, it's like, oh, I want 1 less button so that it's like not a suit jacket kind of connotation. But then 2 buttons, I think it's just like a good sports jacket kind of configuration. And not to mention because it's a 4-1. So there's like a consistency of like 2 button here, 2, 2, 2. It's quite nerdy in a way for me.
Some symmetry in it.
I like the symmetry. Yeah.
No, that was definitely factored in, wasn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So is that something that you would typically have a conversation with your client about, in the respect of, would you like that symmetry?
As we designed it as a 4-1, you then have to think about how the cuff will be in sympathy with the front buttons, basically, and
that makes perfect sense, because they're kind of this is a relatively low buttoning point as well, so the cuff buttons are naturally going to be in line with the jacket, the buttons closure. So I totally understand it. Makes perfect sense. So once you discovered the versatility of this piece, where did you go next? Where did your bespoke journey take you there?
I think it took me to a few places, from filling wardrobe gaps, so getting odd trousers made, to actually, I think, getting what I'm wearing today. Just like sometimes it's quite, you need a charcoal 3-piece suit, like it's sensible. It has like just subtle amount of details in like the houndstooth in here. That's quite hidden because it's like gray charcoal on black. So it's quite subtle. So I fill in a little bit gaps here and there, just to make sure I fill in the basics. But then once I continue with the 4-1 journey, I think that's like just never stop from there.
You caught the bug.
I caught the bug. So I think from there, there's a jacket in between, which is not here today, but it eventually lead to this piece I'm going to show you next. So this is a 4x1. That is...
You're really putting me through the paces here.
Yep. I use it as a workout piece because of how heavy the cloth is.
Yeah.
I believe it's 18 ounce, I think.
it's.
Is that the tailor's touch?
I think it is 17, 18 ounce.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is quite heavy. It's a heavy flannel that Fox did for a limited edition of time, inspired by Cary Grant. So it's like, you know, your typical menswear influence.
Oh, of course.
But what's unique about it, it's the chalk stripe on the herringbone, which makes it like a little bit more depth, has a little bit more depth in terms of the pattern. And because it's not like either pure herringbone nor like a pure stripe, then you actually has less of that business connotation. You can actually wear it as like quite a statement piece, but also it's something I just wear a lot with different pieces, from black turtleneck to what you would wear on a normal day with shirt and tie as well.
Understood. Like you say, the stripe. There's one bold stripe, and then there's 2 rows of thin stripes that run through it. So I appreciate what you mean, because if this was just like a bold red stripe that ran through consistently, that could look a bit affected perhaps. But yeah, the mottled nature of the herringbone that it's based on, I understand how this is actually more versatile than you'd think when you just look at the cloth.
Yeah. Going back to the technical bit a little bit, from the pink one onwards, I actually evolve a little bit in terms of the buttoning configuration. Whereas that one, it's purely a 4-1. I think from then I wanted something that I can wear as like 4-1, 4-2, like a reversible style as well. So what's different from that one to here, it's that the inner fastening button has moved to downwards to the actual fastening point instead, so that you allows that flexibility of wearing it both ways.
So you'd wear it like this or like this?
You can do both.
Excellent.
I think that's the genius of what a bespoke tailor can do for you, because of accounting for your measurements. 4-1, in my opinion, it's quite like a very difficult thing to fit right, especially if you're getting it from ready to wear, because it's not a natural fastening point. Your natural fastening point will always be your waist, but it's in order for like something that's fastening on like an unnatural point and still look good. That's like the brilliance of bespoke tailoring, I think.
That was actually going to be my next question. Sian, something like this, is it more technically challenging to make where the buttoning point is flexible?
It just involves a little bit more thought, that's all. Yeah, you need to be able to make it work both ways. That's quite difficult. And you obviously need to kind of help the client understand that as well. But through fittings and trials, then we get there.
Because I've heard a lot from other tailors that being a tailor is about setting expectations. And because I think people like us that enjoy sartorial things can kind of let our imaginations run wild. So do you ever have to rein customers in?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But, in the gentlest possible way, because people come to us with so many ideas and they're excited, and quite often they want so many functions within one garment as well. And that's where you have to be very careful and try and steer them towards something that they'll be satisfied with in the end, because it's not got too many things going on, that it still makes sense.
So do you often get customers ask you for really challenging, or perhaps what's the most outstanding piece that you've made?
I think one of the most quietly outstanding pieces that I've made was a customer of ours who came in who had a real passion for vintage, and particularly wanted a suit from an image, and wanted to be able to see the waistcoat points perfectly when standing with his hand in his pocket.
I've seen that image, I think.
And we worked tirelessly on lapel shape and getting the balance of the waistcoat right and the line of the trousers, and it was just very in depth and a really lovely project to work on, actually. It turned out beautifully as well, so it was very satisfying. Yeah.
I was going to ask, actually, it must be satisfying when it gets to that stage of completion. You've created something like this, or the Polo Coat, or any of other of Linus's pieces, and you think to yourself, that was a job well done.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're creating beautiful garments for people who are going to love them and clearly do, it's a great job. Yeah, it's very satisfying.
So this piece was obviously quite a special one for you. What's your latest piece?
So my latest piece is actually a commission I'm just about to pick up today.
So this is it?
So this is it. So a little bit funny story about this. Obviously, I've been a customer with Whitcomb Shaftesbury for a very long time. And over the years, I actually just collect like random cloths, maybe just from sample sale, just like from exchanging cloth with like other sartorial friends. So I just accumulate a few pieces here that I just left it here a couple of years ago and then haven't worked on them. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I've commissioned quite a lot of different things. A lot of them are very intentional and have all the details in mind. What's next for me? What's like continuation of all the stages I've been through, and now that I've discovered like this like love and passion for 4x1, what do I want to do next? So I remember this cloth that I picked up a while back from a sample sale. I believe this cloth was manufactured in 2016. I bought it maybe 2019 from a sample sale and then dropped it off soon after. So it's been quite some time in here. And so because my style has been moving more towards like a more slouchy, more loose cut, so I can actually come to appreciate like traditional suiting materials again, but take like a more stylistic approach with it, with these slouchy look. Whereas this cloth, if you make it in like a silhouette from when I first started, like a relatively slim, it probably wouldn't look that good. This, for now, is like a slouchy 4x1. It's just quite a timeless, no, I wouldn't say timeless look, very me kind of look. And it just works well. It's bold out there, but it's just lovely.
Well, it's important to have your personality show through in your clothes, especially when you're commissioning a bespoke piece. So yeah, Sian, tell me more about working on this. Was it annoying that Linus had given you this cloth all that time ago? He was like, just make something with this.
Yeah, I mean, we do have some cloth stashed under the board for clients for years sometimes. You know, as people collect things and they're mulling over what to do with them. So it's not unheard of. It was sat there resting for a while. But I think Linus is right. It basically, it needed him to get to his current silhouette, which is a little bit more full and relaxed for this cloth to work for him to be able to make this commission. And I think it works perfectly. And it's a really lovely suit, actually. And we just sneak previewed, slipped it on earlier, actually.
I see. So yeah, the weight of this cloth, when compared to the grey and red double rusted suit, immediately a lot different. What sort of weight are we talking for this one?
This one is probably more of a 10 ounce, I would say.
Yes.
Okay.
So whereas I have like quite a few like winter pieces, free season pieces, like what I'm wearing today, I realized I actually don't have like 4x1 as a summer or late spring, early autumn suiting piece. And I have this cloth in mind. I've put it here a long time ago. So why not make it into a 4x1 that I can wear for these months of the year?
So you've collected it at just the right time.
There you go.
Excellent. So Sian, I'm interested, when you have a client like Linus that's been with you for as many years as he has, does the fitting and commissioning process get easier?
It does, yes. It definitely does. You obviously have an established pattern for the customer, so you can work from that. You're not starting afresh every time. And as you get to know their style, then you can make suggestions and you understand that you're going to get them what they want, basically, for after you have your consultation with them. So that's obviously very reassuring.
Do you feel that it's the same from a client's point of view, that the process becomes easier, more relaxed perhaps?
I think so. I would say when I first started, I care a lot more about the individual fitting processes. and then want to make sure every detail is correct, like checking rigorously about everything again and again. But as time goes on, because even if your body shape evolve and your silhouette change, your tailor knows what you want, what's your stylistic choice is, and so you just let them kind of do the work, do the magic, and then garments just turns out fine, just as they are as well.
Excellent. That's a really good piece of advice, I think, if someone's looking to commission their first piece as well. Sian, that similar sort of question to you. From a tailor's point of view, what would you like a customer to know about Bespoke before they come to you for Bespoke?
I think people are really well informed about Bespoke, much more so these days. So customers come to us and they often know a lot already. So I think, as Linus has just said, what we'd like them to kind of know and feel initially is just that they can trust us. And we aim to just build that level of trust, basically, so they get what they want.
Trust is important.
Yeah.
For sure. So what's the next piece following your newest collection? Is it going to be something really zany and out there, or is it going to be a little bit more sensible?
Well, I do have a few cloth laying around still, so that might be it. I can't tell you yet, but should be quite exciting.
Up for the challenge?
Definitely. Looking forward to it.
Excellent. Thank you both for being with us today. Linus?
Thank you.
Thank you. Sian?
Thank
you very much.
Pleasure.